This time Tom goes for a spin on a Moto Guzzi Leman's 850 Mk2 and gives us a young rider's perspective on a sporting Guzzi.
So today we're on my Moto Guzzi Lemans. It's a 1979 Mark II. It's a pretty cool bike, pretty cool. It's pretty in red, like all Moto Guzzi should be. It's yeah, it's a nice bike. We bought it not long ago because I was looking for a big block Italian, and Ducatis are too expensive and unreliable. Laverdas are very expensive, and wow, parts are becoming very, very hard to come by now. And the Le Mans is just, I don't know, it's really like the staple van for Laverda Jota of 70s, 80s Italian sports bikes. Comfy, very practical. Oh my god, do they sound good. So yeah, it's we had a look at it. I was really looking for like a Le Mans ramp because Mark 1s now are really quite expensive, and yeah, I saw this Mark 2. Never been really attracted to square headlights of a rather chunky frame, and I don't know, I just fell in love with it at first sight. It's really quite similar experience to what I had. It's really quite a similar experience to what I had with my Ducati. I thought they were ugly. I didn't think I'd like it, but my dad was like, come on, son, have a little look. Now, we had a look, and my God, I realised they're on my ways. They're just gorgeous bikes. I think much prettier in the flesh. I think, like a lot of things, you really do have to have a look at them to really get a gauge. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about the bike. So, the Moto Guzzi this Le Mans, it's 850cc V-twin. It produces, I think it was quoted about, I said about 80 horsepower, 85 horsepower, but realistically we're talking about maybe like 70, 75, maybe less. But it produces that power in classic Guzzi fashion pretty much everywhere. Although one thing I do have to say, the gearing on this, it is a sports bike, and I think if you're used to Moto Guzzi and expecting a tractor, you might be quite surprised really. This bike it's quite tall geared. You know, you'll notice that in a second when you try and pull away from whoever you bought it from at first, and you'll probably stall it first time. It is quite tall geared. You have to have a lot of throttle. It sounds like you're burning the poor clutch, but it's what it likes. And another thing was that a lot of people online were saying these things were tractory like all Guzzis, and like I was expecting it to feel like a I guess a slightly quicker Sparta, I suppose. Of I guess for bikes I own, well not I own, I have at my disposal. My dad's 1100 Breva, but yeah, this bike, it's nothing like that. You know, if you drop the revs below 2.5 grand, it is not the most happy bike. It's very chuggy. It'll shake you to bits. When you open the throttle, a whole lot of nothing will happen. But you know, if you use it like a more sporty bike, like how you'd imagine you're supposed to ride a 2-valve Ducati. You know, you rev it through the revs, you keep the revs around 4.5 grand. It is a hell of a bike to ride. Same boat though, it is more flexible than a Ducati. Than my Ducati, and what I've heard, Harewood reps and 900 assessors, you know, Ducatis of the era are like as you can see there, I kept it in top gear, open, but I might top gear, tell a lie, keep it in fourth, and it pulls effortlessly. It's I don't know if it was like the Tonti frame has to be the best frame on the period. I really don't think there's a better motorcycle frame, period, of that era. Maybe if you compare it to modern bikes, it's not as good, maybe a bit more nervous, but this frame is absolutely gorgeous. It just takes corners so easy. It's just beautiful to ride. Now, because my fan mechanical frame might be 35, though it handles beautifully, it is quite nervous. But with this being, unsurprisingly, a hell of a lot heavier, it is very pleasant. Like, of course, it's got the classic, what I think, taunty feel, where you shake your legs from side to side and it gives a proper little head shake, which you definitely don't get with like Ducati frames and things like that. But yeah, it is, around the corners it's extremely stable, and I think confidence inspiring really. I can probably go quicker than I really should on this bike. The brakes on this, they're alright, they're okay. You stop, maybe not that quickly, but yeah, they're not the best brakes. They do the job, and that's about all I can say for them. They're up there, period. Yeah, that's a nice word. It doesn't like to go very low on the revs like you might be used to with some other Guzzis, but it's just the noise of it though. I can excuse the extra effort for the extra noise. One thing with these bikes which a lot of people don't like, I guess hence the number of Mark IIs getting murdered and turned into Mark I replicas, is these quad panels. They are very bulky and very car-like, but personally I've honestly grown to like them. They're you know, it's nice to know my battery's charging. Maybe it's just me coping, but I kind of like it. It's I think they've got a, you know, a very classic 80s cool feel to them. So yeah, one thing you'll instantly notice about the Le Mans is its comfort sitting on it. They are it's very much an Italian sports bike, like stories you've heard about Laverda Jotas and, you know, bikes like that. They are uncomfy. This hasn't got the same reach as, say, a Laverda, but you are rather cramped. Your legs are high up and you're quite far forwards. It's not comfy. It's a little risky, I have to say. It's I've sat on comfier bikes, but when you're on the bike in this position, you just feel cool. You're like a 70s like super sports rider, you know, you feel cool. The gearbox is tall, it's a little difficult to use. It is an old Guzzi gearbox where it comes with a lot of false neutrals, I have to say that much. You have to be slow with it. If you try and rush the gearbox it fights back. It does not like to be rushed. You know, it's an old Italian woman. You know, you have to give her respect. And if you try and mess with her, she will throw her slipper at you and give you a false neutral. You know, everything's heavy on it. Like the clutch is heavy, the throttle's heavy. It's, you know, it takes muscle to use it, and you know, once you get everything right and you're riding, you know, you've got everything down, it feels cool, man. Another thing with this bike, which I think for me is the main, I'm not gonna lie, the main reason I love this bike is the sound. You know, you've got two open bell mouths on the carbs, and my god, it's loud when you open the throttle. Like, we have 50s and 60s bikes, and this thing, when you open the throttle, it's louder. I'm not sure if it's louder from an outside perspective, but when you're on the bike, that intake roar is something else. And acceleration as well. This bike, when it wants to go, it doesn't half go. You know, if you've come off 1,000, I don't know, 1,000 Fireblade, this thing, it won't feel amazingly quick. If you have a handle on the bike, you just look somewhere and it just goes. You really feel connected to the bike. And I know it's an overused phrase saying you feel connected to the bike, but you truly do. It just feels alive. I think it's something a lot of modern bikes are missing, which I think if you've only ever ridden modern bikes, you know, you really are missing out. I think if you're an individual that wants to get into classic bikes and doesn't want, I suppose, the mild hassle and slower speeds of you know, an old grit bike, you know, an Italian classic like this, to me, is the perfect bike for you. You know, you get a true classic feel, the vibration, you feel it through the foot pegs, nothing unpleasant, but it's just, it's a nice buzz, you know. It lets you know it's there. Because it's not about how quick you go, it's about how quick you think you're going. And this thing makes you feel like you're going quicker than you are, which I don't think's a bad thing. So I guess if you are looking for Italian classics like this, you have to think where you're going to use them for and where you live. If you live near a bunch of country roads, you can, you know, nicely open it up and whack open the throttle between corners, but go for it. I don't see why you wouldn't. But if you live in the centre of London, this bike might suck.
One of the bikes at Collectors Bikes, what would you like to see us cover in a future video? Maybe you've got a bike we can use for a test drive. Either way, get in touch below. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, thank you very much for watching.